are you? Because I know nothing about it.
Hi, folks. This is Mark Smith with Family Tree Life Coaching. And we're going to do something I don't think has ever been done on YouTube before tonight. I am going to conduct a assessment using a family tree or a genogram. I've got my bunch of color crayons, my pens. Here's the genogram. We have a volunteer from Rancho Cucamonga, California. Hi, Steve. Her name is Rebecca. And I'm going to do her genogram until it's done. Hey, Soren, what's up? I'm going to start this on my computer so I can see your commentaries. We've got 3 devices here working. Hey, we got a good picture of the hairs in my nose. That's always a positive. Sharon Kelly, welcome. So here's how we're going to do this. I am going to point the camera not at Rebecca. We're protecting her identity. So she won't be. You won't see her. You won't even see me. You know, you'll see the important thing. You'll see the genogram. And I know there's only 9 people so far, but we're going to get down to business because we got a lot of work to do. So I'm going to try to get this set up so that you can see the genogram and so that the magic can happen. Rebecca, how are you?
Great. How are you?
I am just wonderful. Let me turn you up just a little bit here. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? I'm going to put the microphone right up on top of you here.
Okay.
So I bet they'll be able to hear you. Hey, can you all hear Rebecca?
Hello, everyone.
I bet they can. All right, I'm going to put this in front of the family tree, and we will get down to business. Yes, they said they can hear you.
Good.
Got a little juggling act situation here. Okay, there's the family tree. We have Rebecca. Rebecca, how old are you?
51.
51 years old. Okay. So, let's check up with people. Dee Dee says, I can't stay long. I just started chemo again. I'm not a happy camper. Well, God bless you, Dee Dee. Sorry to hear that. But I'm going to go ahead and get started with this family tree by asking questions. Rebecca, are you married or are you divorced or what is your...
Divorced.
You are divorced. When did you get divorced?
2014.
Divorced 2014. Hey, that's a real good picture of my bracelets, I think. Doesn't that look cool? You were married to a fellow, what his first name, when you want to share that? You can make one up if you want.
Steve.
Steve. How old is Steve now?
53.
All right. You see what we're doing so far? By the time we get done, that's going to be covered with symbols and color. And I'm going to know everything there is to know about Rebecca. Rebecca, where did you grow up?
Midwest City, Oklahoma.
Midwest City, Oklahoma. Midwest. Never heard of it.
It's just outside of Oklahoma City.
I used to live in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh.
Are your parents both with us still?
Yes, yes.
What is your father's first name?
Howard.
What do they call that name? What do you call him?
They call him Frank. So I'm not sure how that happened, but
Let's go with Frank. When I
okay.
ask for a name, I want who they call him.
Okay.
Okay, Annie says more genograms. Yes, more genograms. Judy says hello from Texas. How old is your dad?
81.
81. God bless him. Your mother, how old is she?
81.
What's her first name?
Peggy.
Peggy. Annie would like to do a genogram. Anybody who wants to do a genogram, as far as I'm concerned, we can do these for the next month. Because when we get to the feedback, it's going to kick ass. All right? Except I just lost Rebecca.
Hold on. I'm back. Sorry. I had to get my charger.
Don't let your phone die. What's funny is as I'm doing this family tree, I look over at Rebecca and she has a painting that is above my desk at family tree. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm having technical issues here. Genogram demonstration. Huh. Mine isn't live.
Am I okay?
Is the video working for everybody? Let us know. For some reason mine's not running live.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Okay. Sound only. The video is frozen. Damn the bad luck. All right, we're gonna fix that. Y'all see me? Huh. And my thing just fell off. Okay. We are definitely having some issues. Okay, it's working now. Weird. Okay, I'm gonna need to figure a way to have this look at the genogram. Turn it all. You know what? You're gonna have to look at me and I'll just show you the genogram as we go. Okay? Anybody have any objections to that? Okay. Sorry about the technical difficulty. The video's okay. You can see me. It's all good. Sounds good. Rebecca, tell me about your father as you were growing up.
My father and mother divorced. I guess, okay, so my mother had a difficult time getting pregnant with me, so I only have one sister, and she's 7 years older. And when my mom finally did get pregnant with me, they were already in separation. So he had already moved out when my mother found out she was pregnant with me. And then he remarried shortly before I was born.
Okay. That wasn't the friendliest way to come into the world, was it?
No, it wasn't.
I'm having a couple issues here. Let me get resituated. you were in your mother's womb and your daddy was leaving her.
Right.
That would cause an abandonment issue.
Yes. And attachment issues later on.
Oh, okie dokie. Okay. So, why did your dad leave?
Well, he had an affair with his secretary, and that's who he
gracious.
ended up marrying.
What was her first name?
Mary Ann.
Mary Ann. How old is Mary Ann still with us in the world?
Yes, she's still with us. But I don't know her. I don't know.
How old is she?
I just have seen her like on Facebook and things like that. So I know she's still around, but I don't communicate with her.
How old is she?
Oh, how old is she? I don't know exactly. I want to say she's about 5 years younger, approximately.
76. How soon did your dad marry Ann?
He married her
Ann. That's hard to say.
When I was just born.
Oh, he married her right away.
Yeah. And they moved like 3 hours away from where I grew up.
How much contact did you have with your father as you were growing up?
I have been told that the courts would not allow me to see him, or I couldn't leave the state until I was 3. So I would go visit him in Kansas City. So that's about 5 hours away from where I grew up.
How often would you go visit him?
So when I was 3, I was told I could go visit him every 3 weeks.
But before you were 3, you didn't visit him?
He had to come visit me and my sister. And so I'm not sure about the details of prior to being prior to being able to leave the state. I'm not sure how often he came and visited. That I would probably need to find out from my mom.
Okay, people out there in YouTube land, are you still with us? It's okay for you to ask questions if you'd like of Rebecca. Anything you can think of you want to ask her, whether it's embarrassing or not, just go ahead and do it. She didn't have to answer if she didn't want to. But let's have some fun here while we do this. Welcome, Denise. So feel free to ask me questions. Feel free to ask Rebecca questions. Tell me, what kind of work did your dad do?
He was a radio station manager in Oklahoma City. And then he got promoted to a bigger market, and then he went to Kansas City to run radio stations there, and that was the reason he did leave. It wasn't because of the divorce with my mother, from what I was told.
We have a question from Dee Dee. Dee Dee said she wasn't going to stick around, but she's still here. She asked if your husband also cheated.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
My ex-husband had an addiction to pornography, and he let me know of this 2 years into our 6.5-year relationship prior to being married. And I thought if we merely got counseling, if I read all the books, Out of the Shadows by Patrick Carnes, I thought, okay, I'm going to get a handle on this, and then we can be fine and live happily ever after. Well, as you know, everything escalates. You have to have more. You have to have bigger and better things. You got to be more risky. So that's what he did. And then the day I found all the escort letters, the emails,
escort letters, you say?
Escort services. I found emails in the deleted file of our computer to all these escort services, and locations that he traveled to for his job. So that was the day I started kind of planning my getaway.
You read Out of the Shadows by Patrick Carnes.
Patrick Carnes, correct.
Okay, I know Patrick.
I know.
He is a very cool man. He's my hero.
He saved me.
Soren says, I'm starting to see a pattern, Sherlock.
Yes.
Between your dad and your husband. I believe that's where Soren was going with that.
That's very perceptive of Soren. He
Soren,
was very
perceptive.
Emotionally unavailable.
Your dad or your husband?
My dad was very emotionally unavailable, and he treated me like a business partner, not a father. And so that's exactly what I married. I married a very successful man who couldn't talk to me like a husband and wife. He was more business associate, very surface level. I had to look a certain way. I had to dress a certain way. I had to make him look good. And that's very much how my dad was. So it's interesting because I had always heard you marry your father, and I thought, I am not marrying my father at all. Well, now years later, I realize I did.
Yes, you did. Okay, we got another question here. Do you have children?
Yes, I have 4 children.
4 children? That's a lot of children.
Catholic, so only one was planned.
Your first child, what's their first name?
Do I have to give the real name?
No.
I'd kind of like to protect them. Okay,
Well,
so the first one is Savannah.
We don't even need to give her a name. How old is she though?
22.
Kid number 2.
Yvonne, 19 years old.
Kid number 3.
Michael, 17.
So we're giving them names. Let me write these names down. Michael, Yvonne. What did you call the first one?
Savannah.
Savannah. Where are you making these names up?
Where am I making them up?
Yeah.
I have an imagination. I'm just using it.
The 4th child is
Annabelle. She's 14.
14.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sharon already asked. Dee Dee says 4. God bless you. Okay. Again, feel free to ask me questions. Feel free to ask Rebecca questions. Tell me more about your dad. Give me some words to describe your dad as you were growing up.
I remember my dad. My first memories of him were I always loved him. I always wanted his approval. I felt safe when I was with him. He was very successful financially, so we always did the best things. We always went on the best vacations. He was very well respected in the community. People loved him. People knew who he was. He was the voice of radio. And so he could just speak and people would be like, you're so-and-so. And he'd say, yeah. So, I mean, he was kind of a local celebrity. So I always felt like it was very cool to be around him. And, oh, I'm his daughter, that kind of thing. But like I said, he was very see you on the weekend dad, Disney dad, as they say. Money, no object.
So he made a lot of money as a station manager of a radio.
Yes, because he not only was the general manager, he was a part owner.
Part owner.
Mm-hmm.
Rise and Shine wants a quick sneaky peek at how the page looks now. I can give you that. This is how we're shaping up. There's your little sneaky peeky. Dee Dee is seeing the similarities of parents' impact on relationships. Oh, she's asking, is seeing the similarities of parents' impact on relationship the gist of the genealogy? Or is it an aha moment? What we're looking for is we're looking to find out the truth. Anything that's true, whether it be about a great-grandparent, a grandparent, a parent, the person you're working with, or their kid, we're simply finding out anything that's true and putting it on a piece of paper. And then we can figure it out later. But I'm not just looking at the parents and how that affects who this person would marry. That's sort of like the big thing I'm looking for. But that's not the only thing that I'm looking for. Many times the most important thing that happens in a person's life happens 2 generations before they're born. Sharon Kelly, I think you said you know her.
Who?
Sharon Kelly?
Who?
Sharon Kelly.
I don't know
You
Darren
don't know
Kelly.
her. Sharon.
Sharon?
Sharon. Okay, I thought you said you
No.
knew her. Were there any downsides to being the child of a public figure?
I didn't think so. I thought it was very exciting. He was well respected. People loved him. I would go to high school being dropped off with him in a Porsche that
He drove a Porsche.
that were only 5 in America. So
Oh,
I felt like I was pretty cool. I did not see a lot of downside at that time in my life. That's what I'm talking about. He was very, extravagant.
He sounds a wee bit narcissistic
Yes,
in a flashy sort of way.
very much so. Not humble. But, when I was growing up, I thought that was great. You don't think of it like that,
Dee Dee calls you the poor little rich girl.
That's right. Poor she. Instead of Porsche.
She wasn't poor. She had a Porsche. Damn.
Yeah.
Annie wants to know if your mother maintained a positive relationship with your father during childhood.
No.
Not
And
so
that is
much.
an excellent question.
Excellent question.
To this day, my mother cannot stand my father. And she even, growing up, she would say, your father had all these affairs with all these women. I mean, she told my sister and I the dirt, which I do not recommend to getting your children involved in your dirt. And so, therefore, when I got divorced,
Did he in
I moved
fact have? Soren says he wants a Porsche. Did he in fact have affairs with lots of women?
Yes.
This guy's ego is fairly large, I'm thinking.
Very large. He was fed doses daily. I mean, he had a lot of fuel from a lot of people.
So your mother would triangle to you about your dad's affairs. How old were you then?
Oh, I can remember conversations as early as 5 years old about how horrible he was. And my mom did not make anything easy for my dad after that point. Like, he would have to come from Kansas City to come pick my sister and I up, and that's a 5-hour drive. So he would come see us every 3 weeks, but he did. I look back on that and I think, you know what? He did what he should have done according to the court system. He didn't. He never failed us as children that way.
Okay. Annie wants a Tesla. Sharon says, what role has faith played in your childhood and in your marriage?
Faith?
Faith.
A huge part, because my mother was a religious fanatic. She married an evangelist preacher.
Oh my goodness.
But I was 13 years old when she married an evangelist preacher. So I don't know. I mean, I can always remember loving God my whole life. I was put in Sunday school. We went to church every Sunday. My dad went to church. But he just went for show. My mom, she would go, and experience the true faith and all that. So I've always had a strong spiritual faith.
So Annie says a Catholic married an evangelistic preacher.
She was not Catholic.
She was not Catholic.
You
and Steve were Catholic.
I became Catholic when I got married, but I no longer practice it.
Okay. The evangelistic preacher, what was his first name?
David.
Is he around still?
Yes, and they have been married 32 years. And I would not say happily. My mom does complain about him, and guess what? He's a narcissist.
But he's an evangelistic preacher. How's he a narcissist too?
Are you kidding me?
No,
They're
not.
the worst.
I know. They like attention, don't they?
Oh, they think they walk on water.
Oh my goodness.
Am I talking too much, everybody,
No.
or is this about the right amount?
I'm the expert on this. Yes, you're doing great.
Oh, okay.
But you all need to talk more. You people with your typing, we need to interact more. Okay, so he thinks he can walk on water.
Yes.
So your mother married a radio station manager, blowhard narcissist, and then she married a evangelist preacher, blowhard narcissist.
Yes, because she had just found God and went to a seminar at a Holiday Inn, and this man was the actual speaker. And
Did your mom look good or something?
she's a beauty.
Oh my goodness, that preacher was looking for her.
Yep, and they were married. Get this, 3 months later.
No fucking way.
Yeah, and she had been single for my dad for 13 years. My mom never brought a man into the house. I never knew that she dated. I never knew one thing about her other than she was just very religious. And she just always kept saying to me, I prayed for my husband, and there he is. So 3 months later, I'm 13 years old, and she's married, and I have to, get used to the new father figure in my life. Which I did, by the way. Are we ready to skip to the point where I moved to
Not
with
yet,
my dad?
not yet. Soren says, the fuck? Jeff says, hey Mark, what's up, dude? I would like to know why sensitive folks can't seem to detect the really nasty narcissist types. Jeff, we're going to have to hold on that question. Because we're right in the middle of this genogram, but hold your question. Hopefully we'll get to it. Annie says that's so unfair. What's unfair? Her mom marrying the preacher after 3 months, and then didn't you live with the preacher?
Did she live with the preacher?
Or you? Or I know.
I moved when I heard they were getting married so soon. My dad kind of came and got me. It was like covert operation in the middle of the night, put things in trash bags, get the heck out of that house.
You moved and started to live with your dad then?
That's when I started living with my dad at age 13.
Because she married the evangelist preacher in 3 months. You're making this up.
She really, honestly told me they were getting married. It was spring break of 1983.
You're making this up to make a good story.
Promise you I'm not. I wish. I wish I were making this up.
Okay.
Then I'd get a little more sane.
Okay, so tell me more about your mother as you were growing up.
She was Martha Stewart on crack. There was nothing this woman couldn't make, sew, cook, clean. quote a scripture. She was Wonder Woman to me in my eyes, and I remember thinking I loved her so much, and she was my best friend. So when this new man came into the picture, I was kind of gone, and yet abandoned once again.
So your mother sort of abandoned you because of the new dude.
Yes. And prior to that, like I said, no men in the house. She didn't bring one man around. So this was a total culture shock to me that she was, number one, dating, and number two, getting married within 3 months.
Sharon wants to know, do you have any step or half siblings?
I have step. And again, that is a brilliant question because there are no halves in any of this scenario. My dad's been, do I say how many times my dad's been married?
How many times have you been married?
5.
He not married to the secretary no more?
No, are you kidding me? That only lasted 6 years. And then he was on to Linda.
Okay, was your dad then basically a sexual addict?
I would say that, I don't know for a fact, so I really can't say.
He was married 5 times. He ran off with his secretary.
You're the therapist.
I'm saying sex addict.
That would be why I married one. I see the link here.
He ran off with his secretary. He was married 5 times.
He called her the sexetary. Maybe that's a clue.
Oh my God.
He used to actually call her that. Isn't that disgusting?
If a man called his secretary the sexetary nowadays, he'd lose his job and
That's
the company
right.
would get sued, they should.
That's right.
Dee Dee says lots of rebooting. I think it's working fine, Dee Dee, actually. Okay, Soren's diagnosis is your dad is a sex hound dog.
Pretty accurate.
Okay. Soren says alimony up the arse. I don't know about that or not.
Yeah, my dad's millions are gone. Let's just say that. His wives are living very nice.
So, Soren, your assessment of alimony up the arse was very correct. The guy had millions, but he gave it all to ex-wives. Sex hound dog. Okay, a little bit more about Martha Stewart on crack.
So she had her master's degree in, she's very smart. She had her master's degree in teaching, home economics. I think they call it domestic skills now, but back in the day it was called home economics. And she literally sewed all the time. She wanted to make all my clothes. That's how good she was. Like, she didn't want to buy anything. She's the only one in her family that married someone like my dad. She's 5 brothers and sisters, and all of my aunts and uncles to this day are still married.
Your mother has 5 brothers and sisters.
Yes. And they've all been married like 50, 55 years now. My mom's the black sheep of the family as far as the divorce.
So,
getting divorced.
Annie said, basically the ex-wives took millions of dollars of inheritance from you.
Correct.
Soren says cheap sex costs a lot of money. Control your penis, gentlemen.
Cheaper to keep her.
True. Dee Dee says he should have sold the Porsche.
He did. Well, one of the wives has it.
What?
Oh, yeah.
One of the wives, when you're going to have an affair, don't think of her as some hot chick. She's a bitch going to take your Porsche. That's who she is. Watch yourself. Jeff says, what the fuck? And we're getting smiley faces out of Soren. Okay, now, tell us more about what kind of work did Steve do?
He was a pharmaceutical rep.
And then?
That's what he's been doing ever since I've known him.
He's 53 and he's still a pharmaceutical rep?
Yep. He's kind of been promoted several times to where he trains as well as, is still has a certain territory, but his territory has expanded, so they give him more responsibility.
Soren says the bitch is going to take your Porsche, and he's laughing so hard he's crying.
What was that?
He's laughing so hard he's crying about the bitch taking the Porsche. Okay, Rebecca, what kind of work do you do?
I'm in TV. How detailed do you want me to be?
I want you to be more detailed than TV.
I make sure all of the commercials, paid programming, religious broadcasts get on and placed for 3 different TV stations.
Do you sell them?
No, I do not have to sell them. I'm not a salesperson. There's people that do that, and then from there, I work with the advertisers to find out what exact, for example, Chevrolet spot they want during this news broadcast or this movie or this, paid programming.
Dee Dee says, gentlemen, wear your pants like a priest wears his collar. There was a question about grandparents. I did miss it. We will get to the grandparents, but what was the grandparental question?
Do you want me to talk about my grandparents a little bit? Because we all do not know where my dad came from, honestly. Because my grandparents are amazing.
Hold your britches on, not yet. Who asked a question about grandparents? You're going to have to ask it again. I don't see it. No, we're talking about, this is so much fun, Sword. Sword's never had so much fun. Sharon, ask your question again, dude. So, let me get this right. Your mother married an evangelist who basically was a telecommunicator.
What does that mean?
Was he on TV or radio? Or?
Oh, no. He
was small time.
He basically just hopped from church to church.
Church hopper.
Yeah, he kind of, the word on the street was he would just kind of go and get as much as he could from each church, take a love offering, if you will. He was a musician, so he'd play guitar, sing a song, sell his CDs, and from there, they would just gather the money, go to the next town.
Okay. And then...
that's how they made their money. That's how he made his living.
I got it.
And my mom just traveled with him. So they didn't have a home for 20 years. They lived in an RV and just traveled.
RV for 20 years.
For 20 years. When she was 75, that's when they got their first home. Yeah.
We'll get to these questions, folks. I still don't see the grand. Do you mean was her father a good grandfather? We'll get to that. Any mental illnesses or physical? We'll get to that. I do want you to ask questions, but I do this in a systematic way. So your dad was in radio. You're in TV. Your mother was peddling CDs.
Yes. I mean, she gave up her life as a teacher to go travel around with him. Okay. And he made her sell Mary Kay to bring in extra money. And I remember growing up, she would never let me buy Mary Kay makeup because it was too expensive. And then later she became a Mary Kay consultant. So I just thought the irony in that is hysterical to me. Like, she hated it, but she did it because he said she had to bring in something.
Dee Dee called it the Traveling Salvation Show. Give me some descriptive words. Or how many years were you married to Steve?
From 1994 to 2014. Who can do math?
20 years.
Yeah.
Dated 6.
So we met in 1987.
Okay.
Married in
Okay,
94.
so-
Had our first child at 1999.
So, people, whenever I do these family trees, here's another peek, see. Whenever I do these family trees, somebody says pornography, as if there is such a thing as just pornography. You know how many different kinds of pornography there is? I personally wouldn't know. All right? Other than my work and the work I've done with Patrick Carnes, there's pornography for everything. Weird stuff. So, I don't want to get too graphic here, but do you know what kind of pornography your husband was interested in?
I did not before he started. When he figured out I was on to him, he started getting real protective of the computer, of only doing things when he was out of the house. It escalated, of course, to a live person. So
He had an affair with a person that wasn't an escort?
not that I know of. It was always an escort type person or situation that he would say he'd struggled with.
So the person that it escalated to, she was an escort?
Correct. There were many.
So your father was a sex addict and your husband was a sex addict?
But I don't know that for a fact about my father.
I do.
He never came out and said, "Hey, I'm a addict. I just like being married a lot."
Pardon Rebecca's naivety. She she's in denial about her father.
Well, I just, he's never come out and said, "Hey,
He doesn't have to say it. He was married 5 times and he ran off with his secretary.
But does that mean he's a sex addict?
Yes.
Maybe he's a love addict. Maybe he just loves love.
We know what he loves. All right. A few more words to describe Steve.
Very professional. He was the golden child in his family, a child before him died and a child after him died. So his mother coddled him. And he was the golden child out of all 4 of his siblings. He was the youngest. He was he played baseball in college. He was being drafted by the pros. But the girl he was dating at the time put up a fit about, you can't make a living playing pro ball. Well, this was back in the day. Now you can, but back then you really couldn't. So he quit for her. But yeah, he's very professional. He knows he's handsome. He knows.
Your ex is handsome.
Yeah. He knows it.
He's sort of vain.
Oh, yeah.
You're so vain.
Carly Simon.
Bet you think this song is about you. Okay.
Because the song was about him. You know who that was about, right? James Taylor.
Okay.
Just a little tip.
I thought it was about Warren Beatty.
James Taylor.
All right, my bad. Soren says, this is why I would like to be a therapist. Kimberly says, wow, just wow.
I mean, is anybody shocked to hear this? Because to me, this is nothing.
All right.
To me, I'm thinking I'm boring the what out of everybody.
No,
but is this really interesting to people?
It's fairly juicy, I think. Annie thought it was Warren Beatty, too, by the way.
Oh, well, whose dad was in radio?
Marlene says it was Warren Beatty.
Oh, well, then I'm wrong.
Did your dad have personal knowledge of James Taylor's sexual exploits or what?
No.
Okay. Why did
But
you?
my dad's boss was Jimmy Stewart.
No.
Oh, It's a Wonderful Life.
No.
No joke. Back in the day, all those old Hollywood types would own radio stations.
Okay, let me write this down. Your dad's boss was Jimmy Stewart.
Correct. I even have a
movie.
picture of it.
I just did a video on that movie.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Boss Jimmy Stewart. No wonder he drove a Porsche. Annie says, few people are more vain than Warren Beatty. Dee Dee says, gotta go, love you all. Denise Dean says, if you marry frequently, you want a fresh fuck. I think you're correct there, Denise, with your assessment. It's pretty much an accurate assessment.
Wow, Denise sounds like she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah. Denise,
Ask Denise if she's ever been married to a narcissist.
Denise, have you ever been married to a narcissist? Soren is laughing his ass off.
Soren, you're the bomb.
Yeah. Okay, Rebecca, give me some words to describe. First of all, your dad goes in radio, you go on TV. What's up with that?
Maybe I'm seeking daddy's approval.
How'd that work out for you?
Pretty well, actually.
He was impressed.
What?
Your dad was impressed with your television career?
Yeah, it's almost like once I did that, I was okay. It's like, wow, my daughter made something of herself.
Soren says Denise has got to be a comedian. Holy fuck, this is funny. Just saying. Denise was married to a sex addict.
Sex addicts are in the house tonight.
Yes, they
Survivors. Excuse me.
The what?
The Sex Addict Survivor Club is in the house.
The Survivor Club is in the house, yes. I was actually engaged for 6.5 years to a female sex addict. Okay.
Do we need to talk about we talked a minute ago about my siblings. I didn't have any half siblings. I had step, and one of them did molest me.
Oh.
When I was 13.
So step means a kid from the
My mother's new marriage. He had 3 boys.
Was he just married once, or was he married a lot of times too?
He was just married one time, and she left him.
3 boys, and one of them molested you when you were how old?
13. When I say molest, he was touchy-feely in areas. He didn't.
It's still molest.
Okay. It was a violation for sure.
Yeah.
And it happened like right in front of my mom.
What?
Like in the bedroom next to her, and they didn't even think a thing of it. It was one of those repressed moments that I had, and then I realized when I was 30, it's like, oh my gosh, I repressed that all these years, and I remembered it, and I started crying, and I told my mom about it, and she didn't really say anything. It was sad.
Okay, there's a joke here that is maybe in poor taste. I don't know. I don't know how sensitive you are.
I'm good. Let's hear it.
Annie and
Who said it?
Well, Annie said it first, and then Soren said it second.
Okay, what is it?
That this is the molestation. Station. All right, she's good. She laughed.
I love it.
Okay.
Very good.
Now.
I've done the work. I've processed a lot, so I'm good.
Okay, so you're not all. We never did our disclaimer. Let's stop and do a disclaimer.
Okay.
I, Rebecca.
Hi.
No, you follow what I say.
Oh! I thought you said hi, Rebecca.
I, Rebecca,
I, Rebecca,
know, yeah, you hold your hand up, know that this is not therapy.
know that this is not therapy.
This
Anything you say and
no. This, the word is molestation. It wasn't a joke. I made it. I thought you guys were fucking around. I'm sorry. She thought it was funny. It's all good. I didn't know that's how you spelled it. This is a demonstration.
this is a demonstration.
This is not therapy.
This is not therapy.
I will not sue Mark Smith or Family Tree Counseling
I will not sue Mark Smith or Family Tree Counseling
if I get boo-boos when he gives me feedback.
if I get boo-boos when he gives me feedback.
I promise, so help me God.
Promise, so help me God.
All right, we're covered. Denise says, sex-addicted, egotistical, narcissist, asshole she was involved with.
Yes.
Okay, now, let's give me about 4 words that describe you.
Me?
Don't edit.
Me?
You!
Smart. Talented. Great mother.
All right, now I want
Sensitive.
you to give me 3 negative traits.
Not a narcissist.
3 negative traits.
Oh, get 3 negative. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Procrastinator. I went through a little bit of a hoarding phase there for a while, but I think I'm okay now.
A what stage?
I did like to collect things.
Hoard.
And gosh,
Dude, seriously? I
don't-
ask you for positive traits and you spit them out, and I ask you for negative one. If somebody asked me for negative traits, I could talk for 4 hours.
well, yeah, I can too, but I'm embarrassed. There's shame in all the things I would say. I can't just
I thought you did your work.
splurge out on
thought
my
you
negative.
did your work, you said earlier.
Do what now?
You said you did your work earlier.
Yes.
Foreign, guten Abend. Give me another negative trait.
There's anxiety.
Okay, that's good. No shame for that.
Okay.
Okay. So Soren thought you said you went through your whoring stage.
I'm going through that now.
Oh, she's going through that now. Okay. Soren, you are having way too much. It did sound like you said that.
It did.
It pretty
2
much.
points for 2 points for Soren.
Okay. Hoarding. Guten Abend, foreigner.
The disclaimer on the hoarding issue, though, is I have completely gotten that under control, and I have gotten rid of everything. I am trying to be a minimalist now. I watched a documentary on Netflix, and it changed my life.
Nice. I think I've heard of that documentary.
It's amazing.
Okay, has Steve remarried?
Yes, he just got married.
What's her name?
Becky?
Becky?
Isn't that ironic?
It is, since your name is Becky.
Yeah, he married 2 Beckys. That's why I like to go by Rebecca now.
Oh, he married 2 Beckys.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Isn't that funny? I could not believe that.
Sharon is stress eating during this episode.
Who is?
Sharon. Annie is making sure people know that whoring is just hoarding men. Whoring is hoarding men.
Okay.
Foreigner, I thought you were German, dude. What's this other language you got going, dude? And talk English to us, will you? I know you can speak English. Quit fucking with us. Where were we? Steve, Becky. How's Becky?
How old?
Yes.
Honestly, I do not know. She looks like she's about my age.
We'll call her 51. What do you know? What's Becky like, as far as you know?
She has 3 children. They're grown. I think she's well respected in the community. She is a principal.
She's a principal at a school?
She is.
Damn. I respect that.
Absolutely. And I have spoken to her one time, and I thought she was great. Honestly, I have nothing to say.
You didn't have to go to the principal's office or anything. Angie says my ex married 2 women with the same name.
It happens.
Foreigner was born in Russia and now he's living in Germany. I knew you could fucking type in English, Foreigner. I knew you could. It's okay. Don't be sorry. You're having fun. We're all having fun tonight. Okay, give me the quick and dirty on your kids. Savannah, go.
She is the smartest one of my 4.
I hope they don't watch this and now the other ones think that they're dumb.
No, I'm just saying that because I make them all, I say that about all of them.
You can't say that about all of them.
I always tell them they're my favorite. So they all think they're my favorite. And
all right,
they're
I'm
the
not going to
smartest.
write this down. Soren's laughing his ass off.
So anyway, she is brilliant. She is going to be a doctor. She's already...
Doctor?
Yeah, she, at age 3, could not get enough of forensic files, ER.
At 3, you let her watch ER?
I did not.
What kind of mother are you?
I know. I did not let her. But when we would be, watching TV in the evenings, we thought she was in bed. No, she was behind the couch watching. And she was fascinated with the forensic
Has she finished
parts.
her undergraduate?
So she's in her undergraduate right now. And she's going to get her BSN this semester.
What's BSN?
And then she's a nurse, bachelor's and registered nurse. And then from there, she'll go on to get into medical school.
Quick and dirty on Yvonne. Don't say
She
she's the
is
smartest.
the athlete of the family. She is in... she got a full ride scholarship to a college playing softball.
Nice. Pitcher?
She's a catcher.
Catcher.
And she looks exactly like her father. So she's the one that has the athleticism just like him. Even though I had athleticism in me as well. But he went on to be scouted by the pros in baseball and stuff like that.
What position did...
And she has that exact talent.
What position did Steve play?
Catcher.
He was a catcher. My older brother was a catcher. I always admired catchers.
Oh, yeah.
I was afraid I'd get hit by the ball.
I know. Yeah.
I was in first base. All I had to do was snatch it when it came toward me.
Uh-huh.
Michael.
He is... Okay, he's going to be he's like an all-year-round athlete. He'll play football, baseball. I mean, all of my kids were in all-year-round sports. So he's very quiet. He's not at all like his dad, which I'm so excited about. He's very humble. He's kind. He loves me. He's protective of me. He just cares. He's a very caring, loving child. And that makes me so happy. He's not at all like his dad.
Annabelle.
14, getting ready to go to high school. She's very tall, just like her brother. Her brother's 6'5". Annabelle is almost, well, she's 5'11". So they are, very athletic, and they seem to get along with others, and everybody likes them, and good students. I mean, I cannot complain. My kids have always done really well. They've done well in school. They're nice to people. People seem to like them. They're athletic. So.
Okay, now, let's get into your dad's parents. What do you know about your dad's parents?
My dad's father taught vocational agriculture for 40 years.
At a high school?
At a high school. And he was also a roper when he was younger. So he would barrel race and rope cattle and things like that.
He would do what?
He would race on horses and lasso cattle.
He would lasso cattle like Roy
for
Rogers?
Sport. For sport, like a rodeo type person. He would do rodeos. And so in the hometown where he grew up, they named a rodeo arena after him.
Okay, people, I haven't heard from you all in a while. Are you still there? I need some interaction. I'm being lonely by you guys out there.
I'm telling everybody to sleep.
No, you're not. So the vocational teacher for agriculture in a high school had James Dean for a kid.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, we don't know where he came from, honestly, because my grandparents, from what I know of them, were just very good, went church going. My grandmother played piano for the church. And there's my dad. And my grandparents were married 45 years, still held hands, said they loved each other. I mean, they were an amazing example. I mean, I thank God for them because I know what it's supposed to look like. And the same goes for my mother's parents.
Tell me about your mother's parents.
My grandpa was a carpenter, very talented. He could build a whole house. My grandma was a 5th grade teacher. So there's a lot of teachers in my family, and I wanted to be a teacher, which I denied doing that because my husband at the time said, no, they don't make that much money, so why don't you go into advertising? And of course I thought, well, you're right. I want to break the mold. I want to do my own thing. I don't want to be another teacher. I don't want to be a 5th generation teacher in my family. So I did. I went down the road of public relations, advertising, journalism. And I'm miserable.
Do you like your work?
I love my work, but I still have that fire in my belly to become a teacher.
You want to be a teacher?
Someday, yes. And I know time's a ticking, so I may just have to look for it in other ways instead of like a traditional classroom.
What kind of teacher do you want to be?
I had started my elementary education, so I have like a year underneath for all the basic courses, but then stopped. Once the divorce happened, it just wasn't possible.
That's what you want to do is elementary ed?
Elementary ed.
Soren said that's why I didn't become a teacher. He's become a psychiatric nurse practitioner.
Okay.
Soren, are you already graduated, or are you prescribing medications for people? Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for Rebecca? Amy says, whether you know it or not, you're teaching people right now.
Who said that?
Amy.
God bless you, Amy.
I know her.
Don't make me cry right now. Because that's why I chose to do this, honestly, guys, because my story to me is boring the way I grew up, but it's probably quite phenomenal. And I hope it helps somebody.
How did your divorce go?
It was painful at first. We fought back and forth. We had the best attorneys, and then here it is, years later, and now we are regretting all of the horrible mudslinging that we went through. We could have done it, saved a lot of money, had a mediator, worked all the time, and we just unfortunately got wrapped up in that.
So Annie says nobody has a boring story.
Thank you, Annie.
Sharon asks, how are your kids' relationship with their dad since the divorce?
They are, since the divorce, they've all done what is comparing the kids to her kids, which are very high-performing children. One of them's an attorney, one of them, I don't know exactly all the details of what they do, but they're all like either an attorney or a doctor or getting ready to be a doctor. So my children, if they're sitting on their phone being lazy, he'll make a comment of, why can't you be like Becky's kids, Why aren't you going out and creating a job right now? Things like that. And they have confided in me about that, and I have spoken to him about toning that down because it is affecting them.
Okay. So you have been divorced for 6 years. Tell me about any serious relationships in the past 6 years.
Okay, so, and I do want to mention, even though the divorce was legal in 2014, we had started separating in 2008. So it just took that long to get the paperwork done is essentially what happened. But since 2008 was the dissolvement of our marriage, let's just say, and he moved out and that kind of thing. So in 2014, I did start a relationship with a man that lasted until 2018. And he would be the narcissist that was the most evil person I've ever known in my life. He's the one who I have to thank today because I've learned all about that disease, that mental illness or whatever.
How did you learn all about it?
Say again?
How did you learn all about it?
Because I started researching online, what is wrong with me? Why is this person treating me like this? I mean, I'm a good person. And I had heard the word codependent before in my life. And so I started researching codependency, and then that's when I came upon Lisa A. Romano on YouTube. I came upon Richard Grannon. I came upon Mark Smith. I came upon Sam Backman and several others. I mean, and I just became my full-time job, was learning about narcissism. And then it's like, the light bulb started going off, and I realized this is not me, it's him. And that gave me some peace and comfort. And then I slowly started to figure out how to get out of this relationship. And it took several attempts
to get out.
They say the average time is 8 times to get out. It took me a little bit longer than that. But I finally got out, and I had to get a restraining order. And even to the day that the restraining order was up, guess who called me? The day, literally.
When it was up, he called you.
What?
When the restraining order was up, that's when he called you.
Exactly. 1 year. But I ignored it, of course.
Is anybody else saying it's buffering? It doesn't appear to be buffering on this end. Narcissists are emotionally abusive. I hope he wasn't physically abusive.
He was not physically, but I could see it getting there because I saw the anger and the rage developing.
He had rage. I gotta put him on your family tree here. I was putting it on paper. Okay. Give me his first name.
Jay,
How old's Jay?
56.
What kind of work does Jay do?
He owns his own football academy. So he does
owns a
private lessons for
football
youth
academy?
football.
Owns a football academy.
Yes, so basically what he does is he'll teach little baby quarterbacks how to be.
Was he a former
That's Johnson.
quarterback or something?
He was not a quarterback, but he did play in college.
Now the video is okay, they say. Foreigner says we were all convinced that it was us and not them.
Right.
So Jay is a bit of a celebrity.
Who is?
Jay?
No. In his head he is.
He has a football academy.
It's not doing well.
Oh.
You put the word academy after things and it just sounds better, but it wasn't. The whole time I was with him, I made it better. I helped him.
Do you have sleep issues?
Did I?
Do you now?
Do not have sleep issues now.
Did you before?
I did. I would wake up with nightmares and panic attacks.
Give me some other descriptions of Jay.
Hateful, mean, but could turn on a dime and be nice if it benefited him or if someone was around that he wanted to impress. And he would always make me feel just invisible. But you don't realize it in the beginning. And then I also started realizing he quit wanting to learn about me. You know? Real early in the relationship, and I thought, that's odd. I want someone to always want to learn about me. And learn about each other, you know?
Jekyll and Hyde.
Yes.
Annie says all narcissists are celebrities in their own minds.
That's right.
Sharon says, do you have PTSD as a result?
C-PTSD I did have, and I really had to work through that. And I did everything. Like, I did not, after that relationship ended in 2018, I did not even look at another man. I was scared to death of men, and all of, of course, Mark's videos would say, don't stay off the dating sites, and I did. I did not even talk to another man, look at another man. I was never, of course, I didn't have any contact with the man, so there was no intimacy. So, yes, it very much affected me. I felt like I had adrenal fatigue. You name it, I had it. I went through depression. I gained a little weight. I just couldn't get off the couch. It was bad there for a while.
I think many of us have been there, have we not, folks? Jeff says that's what happens when you get near these people. They seem to implant really dark thoughts and dreams. It's creepy as hell.
And I just never felt good enough.
Rise and Shine says, would Rebecca explain her ex-husband given the praise she has given the parents? It sounded like to her that you were praising his parents. I didn't hear you do that. You said he was pampered by his mama.
Right. His mama coddled him. His dad was he was in the military, so he practiced military style discipline, like go run the stairs for an hour until you're about ready to die. And that's what he started doing to our children when they would get in trouble as little kids, and it just I got to the point where I made them stop.
He would try to make your kids run the stairs?
Yeah, he did stuff like that, like things that were done to him. And I understood, we did go to counseling for his sex addiction because he would talk about, masturbation and how he had a problem with it. And back in the day, you could call those 1-900 numbers and talk to a live person who would help you to your point for $2.99 a minute. And he confided in me that he had done that, and he would spend like $30 a day. And I was just in shock. And then he thought by throwing his... I can hear myself.
What?
I can hear myself.
You're good.
Well, it's repeating.
You're so good.
Okay, it's just hard to talk.
Let me turn you down a little bit then.
So he thought his addiction would be gone if we just went and threw all the VHS porno tapes away or Playboy magazine, and he quit calling the 900 numbers. He thought that would magically make him better.
He wanted you to go through the Playboys with him?
No, he said, let's go throw them away in the trash.
Throw them away. Throw them away.
So we did. We made a big celebration of throwing everything away. And then I thought, okay, we're good now. And then 3 years later, I uncovered more.
Foreigner says, I didn't know a thing about narcissism. I didn't know what was going on. My wife was the most charming, helpful, friendly, open, outgoing person imaginable, except behind closed doors.
Right.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? And Rebecca, do you have anything you want to add to your family tree?
I guess not. You tell me what you need to know. I don't.
I think
I have
pretty
one
much.
sister.
You have a sister. We need to find out about your sister. My bad.
And she is a registered nurse in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas? She
Yes.
older or younger?
She's 6 years older.
How'd she end up in Las Vegas?
Her first husband had a business out there
What's her
that they've
first?
since divorced.
What's her first name?
Janet.
How's your dad's health?
Amazing.
He's 81. Does he still have a wife?
No. After his fifth divorce, he just decided that was it.
He's retired?
No, he still works in radio.
I mean, with women.
Oh, he's retired from women?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
I'm sure he's not retired 100% from women.
Okay. What's your sister like?
She's the sweetest person. She's always loved me unconditionally. We have an amazing relationship today. We talk a lot. She's very, very kind. She's like my mom. Very sweet. home ec, domestic,
Married?
married to a second husband.
What happened to the first one?
They got divorced. Guess what? He was a sex addict.
Surprise, surprise.
He liked to fantasize about me in the bedroom with him. And my sister would tell me this stuff. And she was
Oh
like,
my
this
God.
is disgusting. You cannot be serious.
And he would tell her that?
Yeah, he would tell my sister that. That he would want to pretend that I was in the bedroom with them.
Oh my God. Soren says
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Icky.
Mark, I can totally hear myself talking, like on your speaker.
Okay,
It has a backlash.
let me
So it's
turn
hard
it
for me to
down.
talk.
All right, can you say something, see if they can still hear you?
Hello? No, that's good. Oh no, I can hear myself.
Yeah, that's about as low as I can take it.
I don't know why it just started that all of a sudden.
I don't know.
Okay.
I know what that's like. It happens to me on Google, like we're on right now.
Well, as long as I'm coming across okay, I'll just
You're
keep
coming
talking.
across really good.
Okay.
Soren says try muting and okay, I'm going to mute you and unmute you. Or you should try the same.
Me?
Yeah.
I
Mute, unmute.
Okay, can you hear
Soren
me?
says if you both mute and unmute, it will stop. Do you still hear yourself?
I can still hear myself.
Soren,
It's
it didn't
okay.
work.
We'll just keep going.
All right. Okay. So what time is it? I've lost track of time here. It is 9:56. Are we ready to get the feedback results of the family tree? Here's the final family tree.
Can I see it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wow. I didn't know you were writing all that.
Of course I was.
Oh my God.
Somebody wants to know your isms, and I don't even know what that means. What's a ism?
My idiosyncrasy?
I don't know. What's a ism?
You mean my idiosyncrasies, I think.
Annie says we all want to do these genograms. We'll be doing them till 2025. Okay. Do you mean her idiosyncrasies? Whoever asked that question. Perfectionism. That would be an ism. Do you have that one?
Okay.
What are your isms? Workaholism.
I used to be a workaholic, but I'm not anymore.
Do you have any isms? People-pleasing isms.
Disease to pleaseism.
Disease to please.
I've really overcome a lot of my isms.
She doesn't have a lot of isms going on. Okay, let me take a look at this family tree just here for a second.
But Mark, do you know about all my dad's wives? Or no? You just
I don't
they
need
were
to know.
fun.
I don't need to know about all your dad's wives. I'm
Okay.
sure they were
'Cause we could-
peaches.
We could be here for 3 more hours.
Yeah. Let's get to the punchline here. So, what stands out to me is three really intense narcissists, 4 really intense narcissists in your family tree. Starting with your father, who super narcissistic, and he was a sex addict. He was a sex addict. Denial's not just a river in Egypt. Sex addict. If he was a Disney dad, he abandoned you. emotionally. He was more interested in chasing women than being a dad. And being famous and hanging out with Jimmy Stewart, which I can't blame him for that because Jimmy Stewart was pretty cool.
And Buddy Holly.
He hung out with Buddy Holly?
Yeah, they wrote songs together.
Didn't Buddy Holly get killed in a plane crash?
Yes, he knew Buddy Holly before Buddy Holly was Buddy Holly.
Cool. Soren says this is good. So the biggest figure on your family tree is your father. He set the course of your life. Are you angry at your father?
I was.
Did you work it through?
Oh, yeah.
How'd you do that?
How or why?
How?
I spoke to him about it a couple years, and we just have had some heart-to-hearts.
Did he apologize and
Yes.
admit to being a narcissistic, sex addict asshole?
Not in those words.
Probably not in those words, but in so many words.
He said he has a lot of regrets about the decisions he made with all the women, and that all the time that lost he could have invested in my sister. So that was big for him to admit that.
How long did this conversation last between you and your father in terms of years?
Oh, it was a good 2 years.
Okay. And you went to him with anger. Darn, I lost her. I got to get her back. Sorry. I'll be back in a second here. I think my darn it all. I think my laptop died. So let me hook her up again here. Sorry about this. I didn't think to plug in the laptop.
Hi.
Hello, I somehow have you on a my computer died.
Okay.
Here, I'll put you on speaker. Dude, Polly needs to go out. I get it. Hold on.
Is this coming in okay on my part?
You know, it is. Can you guys hear her now?
At least it doesn't have the echo.
Okay. Okay, so, Soren, no, I did not have the computer plugged in. Thank you for pointing that out, my friend. I fucked up. I forgot to plug it in. Okay, y'all can hear her. Okay, let's get back to analyzing your genogram. Your dad was a real piece of work. It doesn't sound like to me you've plumbed the depth of your anger with him. The reason you had to marry Steve was your father.
Right.
The reason you had to be with Jay was your father. All the anger you have towards Steve, all the anger you have toward Jay, it was all caused by your father. I think you have more conversation coming with your father.
Yeah.
There's more work to do there. Think about how much pain Steve caused you. Think about how much pain. I'm sorry, Polly. We'll be there in a second. How much pain that Jay caused you. It all came from your dad. He was a sex addict and a narcissist. Yeah. But nobody really held him all that accountable because he was well respected and you wanted his approval, and he hung out with Jimmy Stewart and Buddy Holly. Dude, I'm sorry. Jeff says you need a rampage on that asshole. No offense. I think he's talking about your dad. Sarah says you're doing great. I think she's talking to you. Foreigner says that's why I'm here. You guys are amazing. Soren said he thought the laptop broke. No, I just didn't plug it in. I didn't plug it in. So your mother is a real piece of work. She's a narcissist magnet. She went from a sex addict, attention narcissist to a religious narcissist. Same guy. Same guy. Foreigner says that he never heard a positive word from her father. Marlene says this is why Mr. Polly's wearing a diaper, because I don't take him out. If I leave now, we don't get to finish this thing. Let me give Polly just a little bit of love. Yeah. Talk to the people, Rebecca. Talk to it. What's coming up for you as I'm saying this stuff?
What's coming up for me is I realize the day is coming where I need to have a heart-to-heart with my dad and ask him how he could have left me as a baby, because that has dictated a lot of my issues. I mean, when I go into a job, I want to please the boss like no other. I'll stay late, I'll come in early, I'll not take lunches, I'll do whatever, I'll make coffee. You know, I just overly do it in all aspects of my life. I have gotten so much better about that as I've learned about narcissism throughout the years and my codependency issues. But I do know the core original wound stems from my father. And I do know that it is just a broken record that keeps continuing to play out in my life. I've seen it play out in my mother's life. I've seen it play out in my sister's life. But what's interesting is it has not played out in any of my cousins' lives or, you know, their parents that have strong, secure marriages. They're fine. They've all stayed in their same marriages. They're happy, you know. Okay. Did you need me to stop talking?
I changed his diaper. It sounds like your talking was really good.
Okay. But I do know the day is coming where I need to have a hard talk with my dad, because there is some anger there, and I do want to ask him, how could you leave a precious baby girl? You know?
Talk real close to your phone.
I was just saying, how could you leave a precious baby girl? How could a father, knowing what I know now and what the joy of being a mother is, I could never leave my child. And he did, and that will forever scar me. But I'm trying to be a grown-up about it. I'm trying to move on. But it's there.
Marlene's addressing Foreigner, and she says, I can relate to your story about your dad. My dad didn't talk to me and never touched me, only in anger.
My dad was very affectionate toward me when he was around me. Very, I mean, appropriately. He'd give me hugs. He'd kiss me goodnight every night. I had a bedwetting problem from 0 to 7th grade.
Right into the mic of your phone.
Right here?
Yeah.
You can't. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I had a bedwetting issue, and when I would stay with my dad on the weekends when I was growing up, he would set his alarm and come down and take me to the bathroom. I mean, like, he was a cool, caring person in that regard. Like, he took care of me. I felt loved in that regard.
But think of how much pain you went through with Steve.
Yeah.
And how much pain you went through with Jay. It was all your dad. Now, I do look at your grandfather, the mild-mannered vocational agricultural teacher, and he was in a rodeo. He had a little showman in him. I don't think you heard him, but I said he was like Roy Rogers.
Okay, I did not hear that.
Yeah. It's not like, you go around lassoing cows. You got to have a little showman. I'm not saying he was a narcissist, but that's a little bit of showman, the lassoing the cows. If I knew how to lasso cows, I would lasso cows, but I don't know how to. And he says, thanks for sharing, Rebecca, and thanks for another genogram. Take care, peeps. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
So, ironically, your mother felt abandoned by your father for him leaving her for the secretary. And then your mother just stone cold abandons you for a evangelist preacher.
Correct.
And growing up, you just had the one sister.
Yes.
Knowing what you know now, are you able to look upon Steve more positively?
Yes.
Wasn't his fault. You recruited him to do what he did.
Correct.
I'm not saying he's not an asshole, but
but he is.
Well, he might be, but their only type of man that you were going to marry was going to be a sex addict and a narcissist. Is Steve a narcissist? You said he's so vain, he's handsome and vain. Little narcissist.
Oh, he's a narcissist.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, you needed a sex addict narcissist to marry. That was the only choice. There was nothing else that was going to happen for you.
Unless I had an anti-type.
Smart ass.
But that's boring.
She's right. Sometimes people marry anti-types. I married an anti-type for 27 years. Really nice, sweet, wonderful woman. And she really wasn't boring. It's just crazy ass, hot borderline women were a little more interesting in midlife for me. What would you hoard before?
What? Say that again?
What did you hoard before?
A lot of just clothing, anything that I felt like I could buy and then make a profit later. But the problem was I never made the profit later.
Okay, you were gonna eBay that shit.
That's right.
Okay, didn't work out.
And I never.
Okay.
Right.
All right, so you realize that you needed Jay in your life.
Yes.
are you able to think more positively of Jay?
Yes.
Or at least not horribly negatively?
Right. He was the best gift of all.
She knows
I
her
have learned
stuff.
so much about myself.
Yeah,
I have learned so much about. I'm a different person today that is so much healthier. I get it now. I know. I can see these patterns. I know what's going on. And the people I have chosen as of late are not at all the type that I would have picked before.
So, if I were you, I would be careful to stay away from celebrity types who are in multimedia. Might turn out bad for you, especially if they seem to have a strong sexual interest. Does anybody...
What do you mean by that? Wait, I don't understand that. I don't understand.
If you meet like another TV personality, radio personality, that kind of thing, and they are good looking and they know it, and they're sort of arrogant, and they're horny as hell, beware.
Well, yeah, those kind of people don't attract me anymore.
Okay.
I'm not attracted to those type of people anymore.
Too arrogant.
Oh, arrogance is a 4-letter word to me. I avoid that like the plague.
Okay.
I do not like arrogant people.
Okay. Any parting feedback for Rebecca? I didn't coach her on any of this stuff. We've never talked about her family stuff. I just knew her from this channel. I didn't know any of this stuff. So the fact that she can be forgiving and non-judgmental and non-victimy, even about Evil Jay, that says she's a badass in recovery. Sharon says, I find it very hard to have any kindness toward the former narcissistic sex addict alcoholic. Yes, I'm sure he's wounded and he has lots of counseling, and that I hope he chooses to stay like his food. I don't know what that means. You're not saying you have warm feelings. You're just saying you don't hate the man, right, Rebecca?
Correct.
You don't.
I'm saying that I look at it as he was a gift, because if I didn't go through that, I would just be picking the same men over and over again. And I wouldn't be putting the focus on me as far as learning about the original wound, where it started, how to build my relationship with my father. Now that I know who he is and what he's about, I can manage that and navigate it easier.
Amy, who's given you some really good feedback tonight.
Oh, thank you, Amy.
She says your integrity sounds. My phone is running out of juice. That's on the YouTube. She says your integrity sounds pretty darn centered, even with a bit more to process. So she's given you props for your integrity.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate it. Work in progress. I try to learn something every day.
Any more? Sarah says, why are we addicted to what poisoned us? Sarah, I need to assign you to about 500 of my videos. Watch them until your eyes bleed. Everything you need to know is on those videos. Our sexuality is calibrated by the people who wounded us, and that's the system that Mother Nature created. And you know what? You like who you like. And the job of romantic love is to make you totally freaking miserable, to tear down your walls so you can be like this woman right here who is grateful for the pain, grateful for the growth, doesn't hold any bitterness toward her former evil narcissist boyfriend, toward her sex addict husband who was a narcissist. She doesn't have bitterness toward her father. She has a bit more work in individuating and holding him accountable. He really has never fully been held accountable because he's a charming motherfucker kind of a thing. There's something charming about him. I haven't know anything about him, but on paper he looks charming as hell.
He is. People just love him.
I bet they
He
do.
looks. Let me give you. He looks just like Clint Eastwood.
Oh no, he does not.
He literally, people stop him when he has his sunglasses on, and they think he is Clint Eastwood, and they ask for autographs.
Jesus Christ. He looks like
Yep.
Clint Eastwood. He had a Porsche. He had millions of dollars. He had 5 wives. He left for his secretary. And his boss was Jimmy Stewart, and he hung out with Buddy Holly. I wonder how this motherfucker was narcissistic. Jeez, what a surprise. Angie says, hypothetically speaking, can we hate them but for different reasons? No, you can't hate them. Don't hate your parents. Don't hate your ex-husbands. Don't hate your ex-narcissistic boyfriends. You know what that is? That's you being a victim.
And how you win is you just go on with your life and you don't think about those people. You don't give them any energy. If there's one thing you can take away from this, is you just go on with your life and you just keep thriving and you just tell everybody to go to hell. No.
But by thriving, you're telling them, hey, you had no effect on me and watch me go.
Okay, now I didn't plug in my speaker long enough. So make your checks out to Rebecca for dropping some knowledge up on us here tonight.
$1 million zillion, please.
She just wants $1 million is all she wants. So, hey, thank you for your courage. Thank you for being open to feedback. You did teach people. You did help people. Amy said, thank you for the great collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, Mark.
And
It's a pleasure meeting you. Thank you.
I hope that some of this information I shared, made sense and sort of you're underrating your dad's dangerousness. He's fucking Darth Vader. He's not charming. He's there was a saying, something in that movie, The Usual Suspects, Kaiser Sose. The thing about the devil is something about nobody believes that he's really real. Your dad was charming and everybody loved him, but he was the fucking devil too. He was both. And that's why you needed Jay, who definitely was the devil. And that's why you needed Steve, who also was the devil.
Yeah. I get it. No more devils in my future.
So, Sharon, we are going to continue to do genograms, and we'll do it with the same format. Well, I will call you. I'm going to plug in the laptop next time, and I'll call you. Get on a list if you want to do these. Do one of these next time. We'll start a list, but you got to have a lot of courage. You got to have a lot of insight, and you got to be open to feedback. And you got to say the disclaimer where you won't sue my ass. That's a very important part of it. Soren says, this was awesome, Mark. So let me know who wants to be on the list, and we'll get knee deep in some life-changing insight. This is not therapy. This is just a little practice session, just a demo. Do not try this at home. If you just play a therapist on TV, this shit is not going to roll. I have got to leave. Polly is pissed. I got to go. I will see you all in 2 weeks. Thank you for watching. God bless.